You know how on the subway one they have like subway cards that they're holding the microphones on?
Oh,
You
yes.
should get like little like the bike pizza cutter. Just
Little things to hold
yeah.
the. Yeah, that
They
would
have
be
little
cute. Or we could even
flamingos.
do like little. Yeah. Like little
Well,
stickers or something.
sometimes
All right, world. Welcome to Average Age Groupers. I'm Laura.
I'm Holly.
I'm Maggie.
And I'm Alyssa.
Yay!
Another
Special guest
guest.
today. I feel like
So
this
this
one is
is-
a long time coming.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Alyssa made a brief appearance on the episode with Amir. So technically it's her second time on, but special guest, Alyssa, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So we have a connection to Alyssa that's maybe a little different than some of our other guests in that we did Unbound together and we randomly took over her parents' house in Kansas for that. So we'll have to talk about that too, which was very kind of them and we're super grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. But your story started long before then.
Yeah, a long time ago. So, I mean, before Unbound, I think starting out, like as a kid, I mean, just going a little Alyssa in a nutshell, I grew up in Kansas and my family is very active. I've played probably every sport, but probably in like sixth or seventh grade, my brother started swimming and we all started doing summer swim camp. And so my first sport really was being a swimmer. And my freshman year of high school, our swim coach, like our first meet, was like, hey, does anyone else want to do the 500? And my older sister, who is also on the swim team, was like, I think Alyssa would be good at that. And I just did, like, I hadn't practiced for it, hadn't done it ever, and just swam it, first swim meet ever in high school. And did like surprisingly well. That for the next 4 years, that was my event in high school. I think that was like the 14-year-old Alyssa. That is when I became an endurance athlete. Was in high school on swim team, and then we'd like transitioned from there. I ended up going to college for the first 2 years at Utah State and swam for a year in college, but kind of got sick of waking up at 5 in the morning, which it's crazy how much you do that in high school. And then like you get to college and you're like, I hate this.
Then also how you get back to doing that in adulthood.
In adulthood, like those like 4 years or however long college is, where you're like, this is terrible. But now it's like I literally frequently, my alarm clock's 5:15 every morning. But yeah, college, swam a little bit, started playing ultimate Frisbee. But I had a buddy named Zach my sophomore year who started doing triathlon, started doing some half Ironmans, and he had mentioned to me, he was like, Alyssa, I think you'd really like it. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't run, like besides ultimate Frisbee, which was like running for a goal of catching a Frisbee. And like I kind of biked, like I had a bike around campus, occasionally, but like I swam obviously, but I was like, oh, I don't know, not for me. Fast forward again, I served an LDS mission. So for a year and a half, I went to California, to the Bay Area. And I don't know if you've seen LDS missionaries, everyone's kind of seen them. They're usually like in pairs and they're either walking around, they have cars sometimes, or they also have bikes. And nearer the end of my missionary service, my companion and I were put into an area where we had a car and bikes. And so we started biking around more. We were living in California and I had like seen so many more cyclists out there than I had in Utah. And my friend's comment from college, like, Alyssa, you should do triathlons, I think you'd like it, had just like embedded itself in my brain. And so I was out there like as a missionary, totally doing not that, and was just like kind of like thinking about it. And then you meet so many people, and I met like older couples who had done century rides, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And it was just like not eating at me, but just like this growing thing that I was like, yeah, I think when I like go back to college, like I want to sign up for a century. Like I'm very much in this mentality of like, if X person can do it, so can I.
Well, because when you were in California, that's when you like really fell in love with biking. Like
Yeah.
it made a huge difference in your life.
It was huge for my mental health. Going around and talking to strangers all day. Just talking to strangers is hard, let alone being like, let me tell you about Jesus Christ. Makes it extra difficult. So being on the bike was just like incredibly helpful. And I think for myself, it was like a time that I really needed, because I started running more on the mission too, which was nice just for health. But like being on the bike was just nice in that like you don't have to talk to your companion all the time. You were like able to do something else. So I was on bike for about 4.5 months near the end, and then finished up and went back from California back to Utah to go back to college, and was lucky enough to bring my bike that I had, which was like a hybrid. It was a hybrid, I don't know, a Raleigh, I think, just like this steel kind of junky bike that we probably, like when we were biking, we were probably biking 20-ish miles every day, in skirts and dresses and
just gonna say, like, were you in bike
church
gear when
shoes?
you were doing this?
No, we would wear like leggings kind of under our dresses, but then you were like wearing like not even tennis shoes. We were wearing like flats. Like I had a companion who would wear her like high heel boots with our like flat pedals and like straight, like not drop bars, just like straight bars. And we're just like biking up the hills of like Northern California. We're in Antioch and like San Ramon. And it's like pretty hilly. And you're just like, we're showing up to people's houses, just like kind of sweaty in church clothes. Because I always have had bangs. So they're like always clipped back, or like, hair is down. Like I would wear it down, not like in a ponytail, or my hair's usually always braided when I'm out riding.
Wait, so also your hair was just like flying behind you,
blowing in the wind. Yes. But yeah, it was summertime in California for that. But yeah, so my hair got super blonde. It's already very blonde, but being outside riding, again, so nice. But anyway, we get to the end of the mission. I end up bringing that bike home. It was, kind of crappy. And my uncle I have one uncle, one of my mom's brothers, who cycles, and I gotten home. I had a couple buddies, my friend from sophomore year who told me to get into triathlon, and then one of my good friends named Brian, who also rode. And I kind of talked to my friend Brian and then my uncle Eric about riding and like getting an actual bike, because I wanted to ride more and I wanted to do a race. And so I went to Performance Bike, RIP for them shutting down. They were so great. Discount bikes. I don't know if you guys ever had Performance Bike, but it was just like discount. They just had everything, and it was like just a little cheaper because it was more like wholesale. But I bought my first bike in, I think, January-ish time frame of 2015.
Is that the one that's your trainer bike?
Yes, my trainer bike is beautiful. It's a Fuji Roubaix 1.3, and I rode that bike into the ground. I bought it in January, and I think I signed up for a sprint triathlon at Utah State in April, and then I did my first century in May of 2015. All within like I'd been not riding besides my like crappy hybrid bike. And so
Wait, pause, because I want to hear how both of those races went for you.
Yeah, for sure. So first triathlon, again, so my uncle Eric rides bikes, and like my friend Zach did triathlons, but like no one else. I didn't know. And it's 2014. It's not like Instagram was like, had been around, right, since like 2010, but like not like that, right? Like people are still posting grainy, crappy photos. And like, I think
with
I
the
was
white
like,
border.
Yeah, with the white border. I was like Googling stuff to be like, what do I need to bring? And I remember someone on whatever was like, bring like a 10-gallon bucket to like put your stuff in. So I
still do that.
People still do it, right? It's crazy. So I had a 10-gallon bucket that I ended up putting stickers all over, which like I don't do now anymore when I've done races, right? Like it's so why? But like it's at Utah State. It was like a super sprint. I think we swam, maybe 350 yards or something in the pool, like not a lot. I wore tri shorts, and like this was like I'm like younger, but like not that. I was probably like 22, 23. 22. I might have just turned 23. I was wearing tri shorts and like a tri sports bra. And self-conscious Alyssa was like, I'm not just wearing tri shorts and a sports bra to like do this race. So I had a full-on swimsuit over that.
I've done that before.
So like there's like photos of me with like my swim cap on and everything, and just like this ridiculous like my like race suit from college, and then my nothing matching. But like I did the swim. I then stripped off the swimsuit and put on
swimsuit over shorts?
Swimsuit over shorts. That way I could strip off swimsuit and then put on a cycling jersey.
Which probably was not easy when you were wet.
Not super easy, but like this was also cycling jerseys. I was not wearing race fit stuff, like race cut.
Well,
they were
cycling
like the
jerseys are like
boxy
they're
man
kinda
jerseys.
looser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baggy.
Yeah.
And these were like definitely baggy. So I was wearing like, and I like also bought always the like sleeveless ones. So I think it was either like I had like a red or blue one that I would wear to most of my early on races. And I like put that on and like did the bike ride and did the run. And I don't think it was bad. I think it was fine. It was fun. It was fun enough that I signed up for a lot more for the next 3 years of college. But yeah, did that race, and then my first century ride was a few weeks later started at Roy High School. I have no idea. It was somewhere in like central Utah. As anyone who knows me knows, I bonk hard usually around mile 70 of most bike rides because I don't eat enough.
Same girl. Same.
It's a struggle. So that ride, I didn't have a cycling computer. I just trusted on like kind of the first time ever riding in a Peloton with people was at that ride. So I remember like rolling up and like going super and being like, "Oh, we're going so fast."
Were you clipped in at this point?
Clipped in at this point, yeah. As soon as I got my bike, I clipped. Oh, back up. When I first bought my bike, first time riding it out in town, so I'm like clipped in. I'd practice clipping in, clipping out. I had not practiced shifting. Had no idea how to shift. Had to stop, look it up on YouTube. Again, like thankfully we're at a point where like your phones have Wi-Fi or like have service to look at the internet, because I was like, no one had taught me the button, or not the buttons, like shifting over, and I had no idea. So that was a fun learning curve. But yeah, first century went out. I was fine. I bonked definitely at like mile 70. I remember I was at one of our last aid stations, and I'd been riding, kind of slow. I'd been with people, which had been nice, but riding kind of slow. Got into the end. They were supposed to be food and things, and I think they'd run out of like lunch meat. There was white bread and mustard, and one of the older cyclists who was there had told me, he was like, "You got to hit the mustard if you're cramping, like it'll help." And at this point, I didn't like mustard. I can slam mustard packets now.
So is this where the mustard started?
Yeah.
Because
2014
Unbound, right?
century. I had like 20 packets of mustard at Unbound. Yeah, this is where the mustard started.
I love that that's
because
where it originated.
Yeah, it saved my legs.
Because Alyssa bonks, but also cramps.
Oh yeah, I cramp so hard. If I'm bonking, I'm a salt sweater. I know Tara, who was on here a couple episodes ago, talked about being salty, and I am a salt sweater. So getting in extra salt is like hard, and it's kind of like gross. You don't want to just like salt your water, but I will half pickle juice water and just drink that. I will slam mustard packets. Whatever gets it in. And I know mustard packets don't have a ton, but it works out.
Well, I was
But
gonna
yeah,
ask,
that's where the mustard started.
What is it about mustard that works? Because it isn't particularly salty.
It's a vinegar base, and so I think there is some, but yeah,
Okay.
definitely not a
works.
lot, but it works. I don't know. Maybe it like tricks my brain a little bit too. So placebo effect.
Yeah, because you're like used to having it with salty foods, maybe. Yeah. And also it's just like different from a lot of other sports nutrition that you would be taking in, which is sweet. So that might help.
Yeah. No,
After
it was a
this,
good
I'm
time.
gonna look it up. I bet there's a real reason.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah,
totally
let us
Googling
know.
it,
I'm
yeah.
curious.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
anyway,
anyone
go
who
ahead.
listens, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so did that century, and I I think I got lost even. My parents were waiting for me, and I was like, I don't know where I am, but I was like, I have to get 100. Got whatever, finished. I ended up signing up for another century like 2 months later that summer, and did another one up in Logan, Utah, that went north up into Mlad City, Idaho, and then back down. That one was worse because it was like north going headwind, going through a mountain pass, and then coming back down south. We also had headwind. It was super hot. I did call my sister on the second century around mile 9. I got really a trend for me also is not only if I am getting to a point of being like dehydrated going or like bonking, but like when I get really hot dehydrated, I freak out on rides. And that was probably one of the first rides, was the second century. I did a Grand Fondo where it was so hot out, and like because we'd had such bad headwind, I hadn't planned for it. I called my sister at like mile, I think, 90, 95, and I was like, come get me. And she was like, no, you're literally like 10 miles away, like you could finish. And I was just like, you know, like I can't cry, I have no salt left because I was just tired. But yeah, did that one as well. Just it was like mostly riding by myself, sometimes on people's wheels, mostly not.
Do you train with other people?
No, I don't think I started really riding with other people until like a couple years ago. I didn't go to group rides until I started going to the truck rides last summer.
Oh, wow. I would not have guessed that.
Never.
Wow.
Ever. I rode with our friend Hales. Back in like 2020 was when I started kind of riding with someone else and like our smaller group, but like bigger group rides last year.
You would never guess.
Yeah.
If you ride with Alyssa in a group.
Yeah. So basically from like 2015 until 2017, I was finishing up college. So I was riding. I did a ton of sprint triathlons and Olympic triathlons in Utah. I had a friend named Julianne who would do races with me, and we kind of went all over Utah, like in the Provo area, down to southern Utah to do some different races. We did some backward triathlons, which there is a reason we do a swim, bike, run.
I've never heard of backward triathlons.
Oh yeah, there's one that happened in Provo that was like, yeah, you would go run, bike, swim. The swim was in a pool, but you'd like jump into the pool after biking, and the pool was like
Not be able to breathe.
I'm like, you'd be like, I'm gonna drown. Thank goodness I can touch.
Why
Don't
it was in a
recommend.
pool?
Don't do it. Yeah, you're exactly. I'm like, I am glad. Yeah, no kidding. So I don't recommend. Don't do it. It's
Also, there's
bad.
like
There's
no
a reason.
putting on a wetsuit after biking.
No
I
way.
mean, yeah, this was again pool time. So, but still, you're like that. Also gross. Not that anyone's not sweaty like when they get in the pool, but like you're definitely sweaty getting into the pool after your bike and run.
They need to flush out that pool water.
They're going to shock it immediately.
Extra chlorine. So did
Yeah.
you have like a watch at all for any of these? Like
No.
like
I might
raw
have.
dogged, like
I might have had. I think I did get a Garmin watch, but it was like low end watch. I had at one point. I had a crappy little Garmin because I remember on my Grand Fondo it died. It was like it did not have the battery life, like maybe like 6-hour battery life, and when you're struggling like me and your ride's gonna take you 8 hours, it's not gonna make it. I had a watch because I might not have. I think I just recorded everything on Strava on my phone, and like I didn't have a map. I frequently just relied on races being marked, and so races being marked, and like I wasn't looking at elevation. In Utah, a lot of the races, unless they're like going through canyons like the Grand Fondo I did, are relatively flat, because if you're riding through the valley it's not too bad. But yeah, most of them I didn't and just marked it. And I don't know when I ended up actually getting I didn't get a cycling computer until probably 2021 2022-ish time frame. Life changing, but like
I still don't
again,
have
yeah,
one. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't have one until this year. We all know you can go a long time without a computer.
Yeah, I did get a watch because I did Strava for a long time. I got a watch at some point, probably like 2018 timeframe. So I was in college finishing up from 2015 to 2017. And then I ended up getting a job out here in the DC area in October of 2017. And that's when I moved out here. And at that time, I moved out here and I had kind of been like, I'd done so many Olympic and sprint triathlons in Utah, and one of my friends had done St. George a couple times, and I'd asked her about it, like, oh, like, what do you think? And she was like, it's super hard. And then I got a job out here, and like October of 2017, after living here for a couple weeks, I was looking up like half Ironmans, and it's like, oh, Eagleman's out here. What if I just do it? And so I signed up for Eagleman and did it in May of 2018.
Oh, it was in May then.
What, May or June?
June. Early
Okay,
June.
maybe
Yeah.
June. June then?
But still, like, what?
2018.
8 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And did I train for it? Maybe. I biked and I ran some, and I might have jumped in the pool once or twice. But I did it. I remember going out for that race day. I sign up so much for races on this like mentality of like, I'm an endurance. I can do it. I can just like keep going. Which is like, you will be sore. It's not great. But before doing Eagleman, I did do my first half marathon. I think I did the women's half marathon as like a tester of like, oh, can I run a half marathon? My uncle Eric, who rides, told me something when I started cycling, again, before my first century. He was like, Alyssa, if you can do half the distance, you can double it. Like, you can double whatever distance that you've already done. And so I had been training for my century ride. I'd not really gone over 50 miles. But he's like, if you can do that, you can definitely double it. And so I kind of think I've had that mentality for a lot of races as well, of like, well, it's just a mental game at that point of like just doing it again. And so when I did Eagleman, swim was fine, bike was fine.
Did you get stung by jellyfish?
I don't think so. No jellyfish, which is good. I also didn't see any eagles. So BS on that race.
They do have turkey vultures out there. Did you see the turkey vultures?
Probably, but I kid you not. I also I like to race and enjoy stuff, so I'm like out there being like, there are no eagles out here, just riding around Maryland. The run was tough for me on that one. It was really hot, Eagleman, because it can be super hot and windy, and we were running, and I think I'd put ice in my sports bra or something, and it just run down my legs and into my socks, and so my feet got really swollen.
Oh,
and they felt like they were.
Did you get blisters?
Yeah,
yeah.
It was not pleasant, but I ended up running with someone for quite a few miles on the finish in. Someone who I trained somewhat, could have trained better, and I think my training style has gotten better. At least for Unbound, it was a lot better. But my training for this race wasn't as good. But I was running with someone who was like, I've never done a race before in my life. It's like I've at least had 10 plus sprint and Olympics under my belt. But yeah, I did Eagleman and had a good time. I didn't really tell. I think I told my family I was doing it, but no one came out to support, which is fine. Again, I was very nervous. I was going to DNF. Yeah, no one at all.
That's kind of amazing to do that with no one.
Yeah, I drove out. I stayed in an Airbnb in some lady's little trailer outside of town and went and raced it. And then I went back to her house, went to bed, and then I drove home the next day.
We had a whole episode about Sherpas and how much they make a difference.
No one. You just went by yourself.
That's how, minus my friend in college named Julianne, who occasionally did triathlons with me. That's how I did all my races. I
Who's
always
your
just
emergency
signed up and went by
contact for
myself.
these things?
It was probably my mom.
Who
lives in Kansas.
We were talking about this on our bike ride today of how like Holly and Aaron can't do the same Ironman because like who's the emergency contact? Because like you kind of need somebody there.
It might have been I might have put down my housemate where I was living in Virginia at that point, but also it might have still just been my mom. So
You're like, she can figure it out if something's really wrong.
I was like, yeah, they'll call her. I mean, like she'll probably fly out if like it's really bad, but I'm sure I'll be fine. But yeah, no. So my mom. So no one came for that race. I ended up signing up for Ironman Virginia, half Ironman the next year, which they don't have anymore down in
Not
Williamsburg.
the one in Williamsburg. I was going to say
Different
not
from
Roanoke.
Blue Ridge.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. No, it was in Williamsburg, and we swam. I don't remember where we swam. I'd have to look. But I signed up for that one the next year. Definitely didn't train for it. It was worse for me. Just train for your races, you guys. You know this, but that one was rough. It was raining for most of the race. Like started raining when we were in the water. Rained more on the bike. I felt more wet on the bike than I had while I was swimming the race because it was just dumping on us. And then the sun came out for the run, which was nice. But that was my last big race. And then I was kind of just going to move away from triathlon a little bit just because I think I hadn't trained and wasn't really keen on racing. And then the next year was 2020, and I was going to do a 4-mile swim across the Bay Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And use my time from the half Ironman to be able to do that. And then they canceled that race because of COVID. And that kind of put a pause on racing for me. And I kind of stopped. I did one more triathlon the next year in 2021. And then I didn't race triathlon anymore for about 5 years. So, and then I started focusing more on cycling, which I ended up in early 2021. I bought a new bike, my Fuji Roubaix. One of my mechanics had told me my wheel set was dead, and I didn't. He was like, you need to either rebuild it or buy a new wheel set. And for whatever reason, I was like, that's going to be expensive. You know what would be less expensive than buying a new wheel set? Just buying a new bike for $6,000.
I was gonna say, is this when you got your very nice Specialized?
Yes. So then entered my pride and joy, my Specialized Roubaix, which I've now had for 5 years, which I love so much. I've raced a lot on that bike, but I ended up getting that bike and just kind of transitioning more to cycling for fun. I did some centuries, but like 2020, right, I was riding my Fuji, but 2021 on that bike was nice, and it was just like faster. And I kind of transitioned. I burnt out in a way from doing triathlon, but also just a little sad side story. My friend Brian, who I'd mentioned earlier, of like one of the people who kind of got me into cycling, died by suicide. And so that was really tough for me. And I think it was like this combination of life events that was something that like people would ask me like why I don't do triathlon anymore. And like I talked about it not being a burnout thing, but it was also just like a part of like being depressed and life changes, which was hard to deal with. But it is something that's nice because Brian and I used to ride together, and I ride now a lot, and like that's a nice part and a nice reason for me to like why I keep riding and why I love it so much, because I find a lot of peace in it, from like the peace from like when I was a missionary, but like even now into like that mental healthness and like getting into kind of a spiritual side of like it as well, of like having like, I don't know, like we're not a big guardian angel person, but like, I don't know, it's kind of nice to have this idea that like people we ride with or like friends or people who've passed away are with us, watching over us on the bike. I like that. So that's also one of those things that's been helpful for me. And that kind of leads into like Unbound.
Yeah, your first time doing it.
Yeah, first time doing Unbound. I did it in 2023. Brian had been obviously hugely into cycling, but he had transitioned over more to riding gravel. And then also he did crit too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was getting into crit. Like he had like videos of it and stuff. It was I don't want to do crit, but road racing's fun. But yeah, Brian had done some gravel rides, and so after he died, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll finally get into gravel racing. And so I bought a gravel bike and signed up for Unbound 2 years ago to do the 100, kind of in memoriam for Brian. And did it that first year. It was super tough, just the 100. But like I have a photo of Brian that I keep on my bike wall, but that I have taken with me now both years for Unbound, of when he finished in 2021 doing it. It's just like a cute little photo of my buddy who he beat the sun that year, which was exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, and so he came in, he was on my bike in 2024, and then this year in 2026 I put him in my hydration pack, and he survived.
Did he survive?
He survived through. When we cleaned up on Sunday morning, I was like, let's see if Brian's still in here, and a little soggy, but I don't know, it was nice. It was one of those things that I know Maggie's talked about, and you guys have talked about, like the experience of like Unbound and like how difficult it was. But I like had moments near the end, especially like riding through the hailstorm and like getting to the end of Unbound when we're like I was coming down those last hills before we got closer to the, mile 190 oasis. It was like really chunky, and I like, not in like a Jesus take the wheel, but I was just like talking to myself, and like I talk out loud to Brian a lot when I'm biking, and I was like, Brian, I can't get a flat right now. Like I can't really see either. So like, I need you to help me out because you're the reason I do this. So like, you gotta have my back. And like, I don't know, like, made it.
Yeah, so really like a guardian angel.
Yeah. Got through, didn't flat, had someone, rode in with a friend, like a stranger who became a friend in the last 15 miles for me. I don't know, it felt like a lot of the times I feel like very like looked out for stuff like that. So yeah, and here we are.
That's super cool. I do think there's connections to people who've passed away. Laura and I have a friend. We did 70.3 North Carolina in 2023, and we did that in honor of a friend of ours who passed away from cancer pretty young. I think she was 48 when she passed away. But yeah, there is like something special around like those kind of moments, and where you like carry those people with you. Like that to date is my favorite race. Like, and I think that was a big part of it. So,
well, I think that's like, I mean, there's quite a few races I've done because of people in my life, and it's one of those two of, we get to do this still, and like we get to move our bodies and do these challenging things, and for people who physically can't and people who aren't here anymore to do it, like there's always a little push of, you never know how long we're going to be able to do this sport. And so that's why, I mean, a big part for me, I just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so nice to be able to like, yeah, take it in that regard of like being able to do it and honor other people and like just appreciate life. And I think for me, that's a lot of the times of like why when I like going to Eagleman and like looking around for eagles, like it's silly, but like I want to make sure when I'm racing that I'm appreciating the race as well. Like that I'm like, so much of like it is appreciating being outside for me as well, and like enjoying just nature. And like I kind of hate sometimes like Ironman, right? Racing without music is like, people are like, oh, that's so hard. But it's like, but I think it grounds you a bit. Well, I did, have Unbound, had music on for like half the race until my headphones died. And I like, there's pros and cons to that as well. But so much of racing is just, I don't know, I think it connects us to things that are just bigger than ourselves, and also just is very grounding. But yeah, so that's more or less me in a nutshell. After Unbound, I've done one singular road race, which we'll see. I don't know if that's something.
Which she placed at.
Yes. Amir, who was here, he said, you can just send it and maybe you'll win. And I was like, bet. So
She literally won money.
I did win money. I
She's
didn't
like a pro.
I didn't know that I was gonna win money, but the top 5 people was split the pot. So basically, sign me up for Tour de Femmes. So I'll be there maybe.
She's
next
ready for
year.
August.
Yeah, ready for August. Not this year, but yeah, one road race, which who knows if we'll do again? Maybe. Have to find courses that I like, but I don't know. I'm like looking forward to some other races. I think it's just finding stuff that fits in my schedule and that I like and want to do, and it's fun doing stuff with friends. Like that's been, I think, the biggest transition in my sport history has been doing stuff so many times alone to like doing stuff with friends to doing stuff with spectators. When I did my 70.3 in Williamsburg, the Virginia one, I did have 2 of my best friends came down, printed out faces of me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had a good time too, because it's fun for spectators as well, I think, to like volunteer and see. It was fun for my parents to come to Unbound for the first time, and then this year I know they like my dad 2 years ago, because for the 100 they saw a lot more of the pros who were racing through were able, I think we overlapped with the 200 a lot more, and my dad was like gushing to me about the Specialized team that came through and just like how fast they were and just like how their pit crew, changed out their water. And I was like, yeah, Dad, like, yeah, it's cool, right? Like that's like part of why I like it. And this year, like having you guys all be able to come to my family's house was nice, and I think it's something that I think is fun for my family too, and I like having them involved and being able to see this other part of me that's so much like. I don't consider myself necessarily like a triathlete anymore, although I like have participated in triathlons in the last couple of years. But I think right now it's like I am so much like a cyclist. Being a cyclist is so much my brand, and then like running on the side. It's probably just because I never get in the pool.
She did come swim with me twice last year.
Yeah,
I think twice.
Half the
Yes.
time triathletes can't get in the pool either, so.
Right, exactly.
I just blame it. I was in the pool so much in high school. I just can't do it again.
But you can also get back into it so easily when you swam growing up.
Yeah.
Which is...
So I'm, not that I'm like better than other people, but like the people who can't swim, I can't outswim those people, obviously.
You
can
could
come back.
swim us easily.
Like, no question.
But I feel like we're missing the whole running side of your story, because you do run
I do
quite
run.
a bit. And you are like a pace leader at a run club.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this is in part, and we'll do the shout out there is to my youngest sister, Libby, who lives out here in Arlington. She, 2-ish years ago, run clubs became, a thing. It was like, she was like, hey, there's this run club that's starting, that's in Clarendon, and do you want to come with me? And this was like 2.5 years ago. And I was like, yeah, sure. It's every Monday night. And so started going to Clarendon Run Club every Monday night and kind of went every week for the last 2.5 years, albeit I did miss quite a bit this year for Unbound training. But yeah, raced. I did a marathon before my 30th birthday with Hales. Hales signed up and we ran our first marathons together. And
that one was miserable, wasn't it?
It was terrible. Charlottesville, Virginia, super hilly, just up and down and up and down. It was like what I call a finger course. And so we did like loops. So you did like the same 3 segments repeated, and so anytime we'd get to like segment number 2, it was like, oh gosh, this is just the one that just goes straight uphill. I think we gained, I don't know how much we gained, but it was a lot. We can check on my Strava later. But yeah, first marathon.
That's terrible. Like 3
don't do
loops
it.
of the same thing.
I mean, they do that for Ironman
And then
sometimes.
That
but,
makes
like
but
for a
Ironman-
run race.
But a run race?
It was not, there was like no spectators, right? It was awful.
Why did you choose that race?
Because so my birthday is in April, and marathon season doesn't really start before that. And so I needed a marathon before my 30th birthday because that was like my goal. It was like marathon before 30, finish my 20s. And that was it. And so I was like, what? Marathon is happening in like, not in the winter because I didn't want to race in like icy conditions, but like close enough. And it was like early April. And so we did it, Hales and I, and got it done. Yeah, and that didn't even really start my running journey. Like I did it. I had done some half marathons, but then yeah, really starting with CRC because marathon. I'm like, how old am I? What years was that? Was within a couple of years of each other. But then yeah, the last 2 years, I've gone to CRC. I lead a pace group for them as well, which is super nice because it's very accepting of everyone. But like, was one of those things was nice because Libby and I would go. And we'd like slowly get better. We had to get faster because we were on the slower end. And while open for everyone, sometimes run clubs that say that don't cater to the 11-minute runners, which we were at that time. And, you get faster. You get faster if you have to sprint to keep up in the dark because it's winter and you're going to get lost. So, yeah, we just kept going and that run club's huge now. So many people. And so with that was this really cool community that I've been able to do a lot of races with. And then Libby, before her 27th birthday, also wanted to do a marathon, 26 while she's 26. And so a couple years ago, I ran Marine Corps marathon with her as well, which was a tough race for me. I got injured a couple weeks before, so ran the race injured. I don't recommend. I walked for like 8 miles, so
just makes for a long day.
Yeah, shout out Eminem, 8 Mile. But yeah, it was a long day and just tiring. But I don't want to do another marathon. I don't think a full Ironman is not a goal of mine. I think that was like kind of doing the first marathon was one of those things that I was like, well, if I can do it, like maybe I'll think about doing a full Ironman. But I hate running marathons. That's not a fun time for me. I feel miserable, and I do train for them.
I will say, I would be curious what you two think of this, but I feel like the marathon at the end of an Ironman is not as bad.
Definitely not as bad.
100%.
I would 100% train for a full Ironman before I would ever run a standalone marathon again.
Yes,
I have like
exactly.
running friends who say that too. They're like, because I'm like my friend Bridget, for example, she was a collegiate swimmer. She could swim so fast. She can run pretty quickly. I'm like, if you could just like get over this thing that you like don't want to ride a bike. She's like, yeah, but the marathon. And I'm like, that is literally what was the least of my concerns. You just, I don't know. It doesn't hurt.
I don't know if it's, yeah, it doesn't hurt as bad. And I don't know if it's that it's like, you've already done so much and you're not trying to go as fast, or like, I don't know what it is, but it's really not that bad.
I mean, like, I do kind of understand that, at least for I did a couple triathlons last year, one in Chicago and then one out in Reston. And both of them, I ran faster splits for my 10K than I did for like most regular standalone 10Ks that I run. And like, so I'm like, I see it, I feel that, like, but it's just like, I think getting up to that level, I don't know. I think I'll stick to the cycling and figuring that out. Maybe not Unbound 350. That's the heck no for me. But yeah, I don't know. Running's still fun. I've got to train for a trail race that I have coming up with Hales and Tara. In a couple weeks.
Which is more than just running.
Oh yeah, we get to run and then raft. So it's like run 11 miles up through the woods and then we like get in boats and we raft down
like
the river.
Called something, aren't they?
It's like an adventure race?
No, it's literally, I think, called Run and Raft. But it might be part of an adventure race series. But I was like, yeah, it sounds fun. I'm here for it. I love rafting.
Are you all together in the
really
raft, or do you have your own raft?
I think we're all together. I think it was a limited sign up. I think they were only letting like 16 people sign up. So I think it's going to be like 2 rafts of 8 people. But then they opened up sign up for more. So I don't know how many rafts of people. Hopefully Tara, Hales, and I are all in the same raft.
You're open water swimming. You don't know it yet.
Yeah. Open water. Actually, they're like, you have to just float. Rafting, you have to float down the river feet first so you can position your body. In college, other sports that I've done, I took kayaking in college because at Utah State that is offered. And we would have many times we like practiced in pools on like how to flip over, but then for your final we would like go out and raft on a river, and it was like, yeah, if you have to flip over and swim, pop the skirt off of your kayak, you then like make sure your feet first down the river and like then have to get your kayak over and dump it all out of water. It's painful.
But you have the experience.
But I have the experience.
You could raft.
I do know what it's like to be in more tempestuous water. So hopefully, I don't know, like, who's rafting in like West Virginia? How much downhill are they getting for whitewater? We'll find out. We'll see. Like, I don't know if we're like, is this helmet whitewater rafting or is it just like life jacket? We'll find out. We'll find out.
I am curious.
Need an update on that.
Yes.
Maggie's going to have to get the recap for you.
Yes. I will report back to everyone. I'm curious because you've biked in so many places, like California, Utah, here, Kansas, Chicago.
Yeah. Oh. Chicago was super fun.
That was a cool race.
Yeah.
But where is your favorite biking?
Ooh. Probably here so far. I will say, like, Utah, when I was riding there a lot, I wasn't at Utah State anymore. I was at Utah Valley University when I was riding. So I lived in either Orem or Provo. And most of my riding down there was like somewhat on trails, somewhat in the city. Like Provo is a bigger city, but like also college town because it's got Utah Valley University. It also has Brigham Young University. And so like there's a lot of college students. And I feel like while I was in Utah, like I got like yelled at a lot by like college students, like driving. Like I had that experience more often when I was there than I have here. Like, sure, I've gotten like honked at here, like, someone, but like very
Alyssa's gotten into like fights with people.
I haven't
verbal
gotten into
fights.
I just, some people just get a little too close. And if your windows are rolled down, I'm going to let you know. But also being cognizant of like, you don't know what is going to happen with a driver. So be safe and don't do stupid stuff because they're in a car and you're on a bike. And I would like to make it home. But yeah, Utah was nice. It was flat. If you were riding again in the valley, I think you had the opportunities. Riding up mountainsides to like go see waterfalls is obviously going to be so gorgeous. So that was really nice. I think there's a lot of unexplored Utah riding that I didn't do that would be nice to do. California, riding as a missionary, I think again different because we were just riding through cities to like go to people's homes. So that would be someplace I'd like to go ride, especially if I don't know, have you any of you guys done the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon?
No, but that one looks sick.
Because I want to do that so bad.
I'm sure Aaron would do it.
Well, now
I ain't jumping off that boat.
I want to jump off that boat. Put me in those shark-infested waters.
Well, you should meet Trina then on Forward, who's gonna do the swim, the Alcatraz swim, and she has no fear of open water swimming, which is so impressive to me. She's just like, I'm happy to be out here in the water, and I'm like, I would freak out, but good for you, Trina.
Yeah. No, I think that would be super fun out there. And then out here, riding has been so pleasant. I think Virginia and Maryland even has been like, I feel like cars are pretty good at giving distance. There are, if you're not someone like, I'm very comfortable with urban riding. I love riding in the city. 2020, I know it was terrible for COVID, but like it was so awesome to ride through DC with no cars. It was such a unique experience being able to ride down Constitution or Independence and just be like the only person out there, which, is not how it is every day now. But I like the fun of like, I don't want to have to dodge cars. I was on a bike ride before this as well, and I almost got hit by a car. But, like, it's not exciting to almost get hit by a car, but it's like being able to like just time lights and like watch traffic is fun. And if that's not your style, like there are so many trails here, which is really nice, which I appreciate. I just think it's like the infrastructure is really good here for cycling, even though there are like issues with like getting rid of bike lanes or protected bike lanes versus non-protected bike lanes. As a whole thing, I think people are pretty aware and good at giving people space because it's a big part of the community out here. And so I would probably go with it being my favorite out here, but I've also lived here nearly the longest because I've been here for 8.5 years. Probably here. Plus, being able to ride gravel here has been something that's, fun, although we do have to drive the hour-ish to get to gravel. That's been a really gorgeous part of seeing other parts of Virginia. Being able to go out a little bit more towards the Blue Ridge Mountains has been stunning. I've not ridden gravel besides in Kansas. Kansas gravel, though. Like, Unbound was brutal, but, like, Kansas, the gravel out there is so nice. Like, the moments that didn't suck during Unbound, and I know I've, like, said this again, like, for me, mile 100 to 130 of Unbound was like Flint Hills, tailwind, and just like rollers of like downhill, passing cows, seeing just like greenery and like, it was so beautiful and so nice. And like, there's something about riding in Kansas and like being able to see for miles. Sometimes the miles not being great when you're like, those are just hills upon hills upon hills in the distance.
You're like, oh, I have 8 miles until I turn and I can see all 8 of them.
Exactly. Like, there is some part of that that's like hard, but like also it's like so nice too. Like, it was great. Like, the Unbound was crazy because of the storms and stuff, but like also in that like was crazy to be like, oh, and there's the storm, also however many miles to our left or right or wherever. And being able, like, growing up in Kansas was something that like watching storms roll in is like a crazy phenomena and something we don't experience out here in Virginia. Like, we get storms, but like nothing that's ever in that way. And so I think just riding out in Kansas too is an interesting and fun, just different experience. And I think riding gravel in Kansas is uncomparable to the gravel out here. It's just so different. Training out here, I told Maggie my least favorite climbs are stair-step climbs where you don't ever roll down because I need some downhills. They help me with the uphills. And so out here when we're riding in the mountains, like, that's what we're getting are these stair steps all the time. Or like we're getting gravel roads that are curving and they're single lane, and you're like, well, I hope a truck isn't around this curve. And like, that's not happening in Kansas because, again, you can see. And so there are pros and cons for riding either place. Like, I think if people get the opportunity to go ride, if you want to go ride in Kansas, like, I would recommend it, albeit maybe on a year that doesn't have 3 storms.
The best part
and hail.
One of the best parts is I looked at your dad at one point and I was like, so I think Tara and I were like asking him, like, are these storms like normal? And he's like, no. We were like, oh, cool. Okay. Maybe
just
twice a
for
year.
us.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Special
Yeah.
request.
Perfect timing.
Still, I'm like, I don't know. How would Unbound have been different if it had been like 100 degrees, though? Like, that would have also sucked, too, in a different way.
That would have sucked in a different way.
I would have needed so much water. Oh, that's another bonus out here in the summer if you are on a long ride, and, well, obviously, like, 7-Eleven is my pride and joy, but the running out here, all the water fountains being on, life-saving. I don't know if that's like common other places.
I was literally just thinking about this the other day because I do feel like there are a lot of water fountains like at parks in Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Madison, if you're in town or if you're on like the Cap City Trail, there are lots of options for water. But they're only on, you know,
October through no, May
or
through
May through
October,
October or whatever.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to freeze.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, miss me with that, you guys. Miss me with the cold weather training. I hate it. There's no such
We didn't
thing
say
as
we
bad
enjoyed
weather,
it.
just bad gear, right? But like,
I mean, they say that,
I don't
but
know about
gear
that.
will only get you so far.
When I have to put on 2 pairs of pants, it's just really not fun for me.
Aaron
Yeah.
and I, to train for Unbound, so we have fat tire bikes, but we would like triple layer up and take the fat tire bikes out and go ride in the snow.
I'm so impressed.
It's not impressive. It's very slow and very cold. And actually, there were a few times where I was like, I think this is actually stupid. But
You did it.
we
You were also in like ski helmets and
yes,
goggles.
you wear ski helmet and ski goggles. It's way warmer. That actually was like game changing. I was like, okay, we can do this if with this like full cover your whole face situation.
That is wild. That is good to know. I'm like, I have a ski helmet and ski goggles.
Can you imagine it's like December in Virginia and you're in your ski helmet and
I've got
goggles?
my like snow pants also in my closet. Could work. It could have
think you
worked
should
this
do it.
last year when it was freezing for 2 weeks after our snowpocalypse that happened. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I don't have a fat tire bike.
You could do it on your gravel bike.
Don't say these things to me.
You could do it on your gravel bike. We went out, I think it was like December 13th, and we rode our gravel bikes in the snow.
I mean, when they did the Dairy Roubaix, it was essentially winter.
I mean, it was cold enough to be winter. There was no snow.
It was 35 degrees out all day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, cold one.
Yeah, I don't love that. Cold riding. I will say I feel like I am mostly a fair weather cyclist and runner. Definitely I thankfully don't get heat rash, so that's all right for me, but I do not like being freezing. I mean, no one wants to be freezing out while doing sport.
I would rather be freezing.
Like rather be freezing. But like you'd also
Maggie
rather just be
thinks
like
otherwise.
a comfortable temperature, whatever that is for you, whether that's colder or warmer. But yeah, I definitely prefer to not go out when it's raining or when it's snowing. Those two climates generally no. And I think that out here, like in Virginia too, that is a nice part. In Utah, it was also always like dry. It was so easy to ride out there because it's a desert climate, right? So like it was very rarely raining. Dry. You weren't like getting super sweaty because you probably were, but it was just evaporating. That's a pro. That's a pro for Utah riding.
That does sound nice.
Out here, you're just like dripping sweat. But you know what? As an F1 race car driver once said, I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby, sweat.
There you go.
Great. You got any other
love it.
races on the horizon for besides your run and raft for 2026? Or are you chilling on that till 27?
Steamboat next
Oh,
year.
thinking about Steamboat for next year. So I think lottery for that is in November, October sometime. Amir is trying to get me to do some crit that's happening in Alexandria at the end of the summer.
Oh, the one at the end of August.
Yeah.
That's very close to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe a crit. Nothing definitive, but yeah, I think next year looking at Steamboat for sure as a big plan. So maybe getting ready for that. But
aren't you all
the rest of the year.
Steamboat too?
Well, we're talking about it. Aaron's got to decide what if he wants to try to qualify for 70.3 Worlds. Like we have to make some decisions about what's most important.
We need to lay a literal year calendar out next year.
Yeah. Because if he wants to do 70.3 Worlds, he's going to need to do some qualifying races, and that could potentially interfere with Steamboat. So,
Yeah, because the last qualifier is what? Rockford?
yeah.
Like the very last one.
Yeah, that's the very last one. So Boulder would be a good choice for him.
Yeah.
Rockford could be. We would just need to figure it out because if he didn't qualify at one, then we'd have to think about what the next one would be. Yeah. So
Yeah. Did you hear that Worlds is in Chattanooga, Tennessee next year?
Yes, I saw that. I got the email for it. So
Home soil.
home soil. Time to dominate is what I hear.
Yep.
Much cheaper.
Also
So much
true.
cheaper.
Can
It's
drive there.
drivable.
Yes.
So nice.
Instead of flying, huge. Yeah.
lost bikes.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these benefits. You just have to run on a highway, a very miserable hot run. But, trade-offs.
Minor details.
I don't know if it's the same course though, because for Worlds, when the last time Chattanooga hosted Worlds, like 10 years ago or whatever,
We changed the bike course too.
it was a different bike course. So I don't know if all of the course is the same.
Sad.
And
Well,
the swim is different.
Yeah.
They,
'Cause
they had to swim upstream for part of the swim for Worlds the first time they did it.
And then
That would
'cause-
kind of make sense to me, but the bike was gorgeous. That was
but
my
it's
favorite
not,
bike.
there's not enough hills to
It's
make
not
it like
hard
a
enough to,
challenging
like-
enough Worlds course.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. But it was so fun. It was so fast.
So fun and so fast.
I don't know. I didn't care for it, but whatever.
I've read that
Laura
course
and I
any
had
day.
good days out there.
I have
old
never
time.
cramped so bad in my entire life as that race. I don't ever. Yeah, it's fine. I don't need to do that again.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so Steamboat, maybe we'll see you out there after we make some life decisions on this end. That would be fun.
Absolutely.
I think we'll go back to Unbound at some point. Like, we liked it well enough. Like, Aaron is talking about
yeah.
with his friend Logan, like, how does he go down and volunteer to have it so they can get a guaranteed entry together for
Yeah.
that would be 2028. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either of them can volunteer. Like, any of us could volunteer also, and then you can donate your volunteering hours to someone else. So,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. You can donate your volunteer hours.
Good to know.
So keep that on.
Inside
Yeah, I
details.
think maybe Unbound 50 could see me. I've done the 100, 200, not doing 350. 50 and 25. Let's go.
Do the short stuff.
Do
Just
the
have
short
fun
stuff.
with it.
Like, can you imagine being done in like 3 hours?
Yeah, and then
Be
you
so
go
nice.
like drink a beer.
And then you get to go party.
Yeah.
The party that was taken down at midnight.
Didn't exist. I'm pretty sure Maggie took like a 6-pack of beer though.
I took a few because they didn't give me any food, but they were giving me beer.
You take what you can get.
Yes. No water, no food, but beer. Yes.
Here, take beer. Okay, well, it was lovely to hear your story. I'm sure Maggie's departing soon, so
Yeah, but
We won't speak
Have
of it.
her on
yeah,
as
we
a
can
remote
we can
guest.
phone you in.
Yeah, please do. Come out and bring my
you
bike
should
out.
actually. I would be curious to know what you would think of Midwest riding upper Midwest riding because I love it.
Yeah.
There apparently is like some good gravel up around the cities. I like stumbled across
In
this guy on
Minnesota.
TikTok who's like all about the gravel riding. Yeah.
Yep.
Up around the cities.
I am very excited to figure it out. Figure out the good spots.
Lovely.
All right, cool. Well, this was fun. It was good to see you again, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
No
anytime.
problem. I'll give you our spiel, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Substack, Instagram, email. We have our DMs wide open if you want to slide into those. I think I got them all.
Yep.
DC people, if you want to be on the podcast, let me know because we're running out of time for that. So we got to book those dates.
The girl is coming to the Midwest.
Just get ready to leave.
Tonight.
How does that song go? Isn't that a Diddy song about coming home?
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming
Yeah, that
home.
one.
That's me.
Thank God.
Special treat if you made it to the end of this one.
Yeah, I was like, you get
Laura
to hear me
saying
Yeah,
sing.
you got some bonus content there.
Singing.
You make it to the end, you get a
All right, well, we're going to end it
surprise.
at that. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.